And so on to our first speaker of the evening, Ian McCoy, a speaker with a difference. As a master magician and mentalist, he spent over a decade in California and has performed worldwide to blue-chip companies, Hollywood celebrities, Las Vegas hotels, cruise liners, and thousands upon thousands of individuals. He's a published author in philosophy and comparative religion, the creator of a best-selling magic kit, an accomplished musician and songwriter, a credentialed high school and junior college teacher in both the UK and the US, and a lead writer and editor of the online news service Just for the Planet. Quite an incredible guy. Ian believes, however, that his highest achievement and best achievement to date was coming third in his school tiddlywink competition. Okay, welcome on stage, Ian McCoy.
Good evening. They say that magic is about secrets. Well, in my hand here, I have the secret to success and happiness and for achieving your personal best. Every single one of you have a spark deep inside. A creative spark that you can nurture and achieve what you want. I call it the magic in the center. It's that part of us that is pure, it's creative, and can achieve your personal best. I would like someone from the front row. Let's see. How about my new friend, Steve? Hi, Steve. Steve is one of the great guys for the Human Utopia team. Give him a round of applause. Achieving the impossible, yeah? It's an interesting concept, isn't it?
Yeah, very interesting, yeah.
Steve, I'd like you to think of a number between 10 and 12. No. Between 10 and 1,000.
Okay.
You can make it more difficult for me by making it a three-digit number. If it's a three-digit number, of course, it could be personal or it could just be random. Do you understand, Steve?
Yeah.
Good boy. Now, unfortunately, people change their minds, so I won't look. I'd just like to take this band, I'll put it round there. Just write your number on the pad, on the notepad, and close it over.
Yeah.
We'll put the band round there.
Okay.
That's so you don't change your mind, so we can check on it.
All right.
Nice and clear. Write it down.
Okay.
Close it. Now, it was a three-figure number.
Yeah.
So we got how many possibilities, Warren?
I'm no maths teacher.
Well, I used to be a history teacher, but excuse me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. This is interesting because Warren mentioned I lived stateside for 12 years, and I lived right next to this motorway, or freeway as they call it. I used to travel on it all the time because it goes right up from the northern California right the way down to Los Angeles and further down. And now, nobody's seen this number except for you. You're thinking of the number. No, I mean, the highway, by the way, was called the 101. What's your number? Out loud.
Yeah, 101.
Thank you. Okay, so how did I do that? Well, I'll explain it. No, it won't. Everyone in this room can do that. Anyone can do that. 25 years practice, of course, but you can do it. You can do anything if you put your mind to it. I believe the greatest magic in this universe, ladies and gentlemen, is the ability of thought to become a reality. Now, let me try to explain that. There's been a debate for centuries, thousands of years about mind and matter. Now, I don't mind, so it doesn't really matter. But the thing is, what I'm trying to say is, a thought becomes real. That means, of course, that a positive thought becomes real. But it also means that a negative thought becomes real. Magical values. If you live from a value base and center yourself in values, I believe with persistence, determination, and an ability to take action without fear of failure. Now that is key, the fear of failure bit. Look what Bart's saying up there. Trying for the first time towards failure. No, there's no such thing as failure, folks. Trying means success or a learning experience. That's it. Warren, before I press this, on stage, literally just chatting, I showed Warren the names of 30 inspirational people. People like Gandhi, Mother Teresa. My favorite, Norman Wisdom. Now, don't laugh. Norman Wisdom is my hero. Do you know why, folks? Not only was he brilliantly talented, not only was he a brilliant songwriter, comedian, and dancer, when he had a major chance at a Hollywood career, he turned it down because his wife left him and he came home to look after his children. And in the last 20 years of his life, he spent all his money building places in Romania for orphans. He is a god. Well, I shouldn't say that being a Christian, but he is a very important man in Romania. They love him. He's the biggest name in Romania. He spent all his wealth building orphanages. So Norman's my favorite. Having said that, I asked you to think of one, didn't I? Don't say who it was. No, well, did I or didn't I?
He said think a card, and he said think it would take.
There was names on the cards, wasn't there? And you've still got you've still got the cards on you now, haven't you? And you remember the one you looked at?
Yes.
And you held the cards the whole time. Well, don't look at this behind you now. 30 names. Which inspirational person?
There's two, but I can't remember which one I picked now. It was either Albert Einstein or Steve Jobs.
Steve Jobs, okay.
There he is there.
Thanks, sir. How do you do that? I'm not telling you. Okay, so there's Steve Jobs, a brilliant man, ladies and gentlemen. Probably, they're saying now he's been probably one of the most influential men of the last half century. He's changed the world with an idea. Do you remember I said before about thought becoming reality? Well, the iPod didn't exist like magic. Well, or rather, it did exist like magic. It was thought of first. He had the inspiration and the desire and the persistence and the ability to take action. And I mean that sincerely. The greatest ad on the planet is from Nike. Shout out what it is. Just do it. Okay? A lesson from Steve. Okay. Unfortunately, let me just press this one more time for you. This is the definition of what I call magical values. The attitude in your heart, the standard of our actions, these shape who we are and how we treat others. And what are the values? Well, courage, self-reliance, honesty, peaceability. Now, that's a word I made up, but I love it. Peaceability, the ability to be calm when things around you are rough. You do not have to react. You are not conditioned to react. You are conditioned to make a choice. If someone is angry, you don't have to be angry back. Okay? Empathy. Just walk a couple of days in another man's moccasins to understand them. Really feel for other people. Respect. And of course, the greatest value of all, love, because love encompasses every single one. Unfortunately, I mentioned negative thought. When we think negative thoughts, we have negative outcomes. I call these the illusions. The illusions and the false perceptions that are buried in subconscious minds that somehow the past equals the present. Now, the psychological guys, the psychiatrists, back to Freud and Jung, interesting stuff. I disagree. I do not believe the past creates the present. People live under the illusion that they are solely the product of what happened in the past. Now, these experiences, unfortunately, are often bad. Graham Moore and his great team at Human Utopia, Steve being one of them, I came in for 2 days to see the program. It's brilliant. In fact, it should be Graham speaking right now. I'm second best. Graham said to me, I'm sorry, but I've got a decent excuse. I said, no. I said, what's your excuse? He says, well, I'm meeting the Prime Minister. And I said, oh, okay, which is true. So the past doesn't have to equal the future. They have a wonderful term, Human Utopia, and I'm not stealing it, Steve, honestly. I call it illusions of the past. I call it false perceptions of who you are. Human Utopia, they have this marvelous metaphor of filling the bin. They have a bin, okay. You know, they work in schools. But guess what, folks? This applies to adults. This applies to everybody. Yeah? Kid walks into school. Don't stay to your jacket. The bin. Your rubbish at gymnastics, football, the bin. And as the kids get older, the bin fills. So that's what I was trying to say when I talk about the illusions of the past. Now, you might turn around to me and say, well, they're very real. What I'm trying to say is they don't have to be. And you can start now by living with values, having persistence and determination, and taking action without fear of failure. You know about these. Once upon a time, there were 3 people. The long, the short, and the tall. They thought they were not achieving their personal best because they looked different. They felt different from other people. What they didn't realize, the magic that deep inside we're all the same. Once we empty that bin, sorry, Steve, once we empty that bin, once we get rid of our illusions that the past creates the future, we can realize we are all equal. Get your chin up from the floor, yeah? That's mental floss. Things happen when we come together. The world becomes a better place. Okay, Chairman of Governors, please say stop for me. Good lad. this piece of rope. I want you to remember, Chairman, say stop very quickly this time. Okay, good lad, you didn't say very quickly this time, but that's okay. I'll cut there this time. And the thing is now, we have unequal, but you see, unequal, but as I keep on telling people, that the magic in the center, which is the title of my book, by the way, the magic in the center, we can become equal. And just to finish this little allegory off, whenever you're feeling down, don't beat yourself up. Please, just remember the long, the short, and the tall. Thank you. So, what are the qualities of values? A value is a quality distinguished by its ability to multiply and increase even as it is given away. The more a value is given away, the more it will be returned by others and received by ourselves. Now, this is real magic. Not my false type of magic. This is real magic. I would just ask, where are you centered? Maybe you're friend-centered to the teenagers in here. We all know how important friends and peers are. But the adults will tell you, without a doubt, not always, but probably within 10, 15, 20 years, your best friend right now, you won't even be seeing them anymore. Friendship's very, very important, don't get me wrong. But you don't center your life around friends. Maybe you're wife and girlfriend-centered. That's not a good idea either. Or husband and boyfriend-centered. That's not a good idea either. Loving relationships are great. Maybe you're sports-centered. I love sports. You know? Maybe you're work-centered. Maybe you're obsessed with your work. No. Be value-centered. If you're value-centered, I believe you can achieve anything, including reading Steve's mind. So what are the benefits? Well, magical values benefit both the person practicing the values and the person on which it is practiced. The Chinese philosopher Confucius once said, "Wherever you go, go with your heart." And the Christ said, "Love your neighbor as yourself." Honesty, courage, self-reliance, courage, peaceability, love. What's the real secret? What's the greatest magic? Well, the more we give, the more will come back as the values multiply and you and me achieve our personal best. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ian. That was fascinating.